on video. Look out.
Dopey Daryl. This guy's it. Great.
It's because of the sun, because there wasn't any sun. These guys are ready to go as we come into the finishing straight. Okay, Bevan Hutchins nice and quick there first into the pit corner. Followed by car number 45, Darren Allen there, not that far behind. Kim Cox pulling away back down the middle of the field, working hard. Bevan Hutchins there doing very, very well as he comes back into the finishing straight. Car number 50, Shaw. Then we go back to car number 45, Darren Allen. The Vegemite car of Ray Belitho just behind him with car number 30, Dave Wescombe. Maxie Hunt not doing too well. Simo right back there out of the action. And Don Winslade right at the back of the field. Okay, these guys are tussling out there a little. First position still around the pit corner. We've got Bevan Hutchins in car number 18, followed by car number 60, Rod Langshaw. Car number 30, Dave Wescombe with Ray Belitho just in behind him. Max Hunt, Darren Allen, Simo, and Don Winslade still at the rear of the field. Now on the third lap, we've got car number 18 still in front, Bevan Hutchins, putting on a good race there. Good little show between these two guys. Car number 60, Rod Langshaw. The other guys are a long way back. Car number 30, Dave Wescombe. And after him, Maxie Hunt there pushing Ray Belitho a little wide. Watch out for Maxie.
Lap event.
Okay, as we're ready now to start. Chris Waters, Paul Sheen pushing hard straight away down to the pit corner. Chris Waters gets through there nice and clean. Second position, we've got Paul Sheen. Back in third spot, Daryl Harrison. Car number 18, Russell Brown. Spider pushing very hard up the middle. There you go, Spider. Martin Horson back in last position. That's strange for Martin. As we go down the start-finish straight once more into the pit corner. Car number 9, Chris Waters in first spot. Second position goes to Paul Sheen, car number 16, third spot, Spider McCarthy doing very well from back on the last of the grid. Martin Horson there trying it on Russell Brown, car number 18, and Daryl Harrison back at the rear of the field. As we come down the main straight once more, Chris Waters in first spot, Paul Sheen second, Spider McCarthy third, Martin Horson fourth, car number 18, Russell Brown, the Morello 18 in fifth position. And we'll forget Daryl Harrison, he's right back out of it. Come on, Daryl. As we go around the Deakin Avenue turn once more, Chris Waters in first spot, Paul Sheen second, Spider McCarthy pushing very hard in third, Martin Horson in fourth, Russell Brown in fifth. As we go around the pit corner once more, it's still Chris Waters out in front of Paul Sheen, Spider McCarthy in third spot, Martin Horson fourth, Russell Brown in fifth. As we go around the Deakin Avenue turn, positions are still the same, leaving those Spiders pushing very, very hard. Down the pit corner once more. Still Chris Waters in the NZ Ford in first spot. Second position still Paul Sheen. Third spot Spider McCarthy as Daryl Harrison's about to be lapped. Fourth position Martin Horson as they go around the Deakin Avenue turn. Last lap, the white flag goes out. Still Chris Waters in first position. Very, very easy. Spider McCarthy pushing very hard now. Here we go. Here's a bit of a go, the boys. Still in second position Paul Sheen. Third position goes to Spider McCarthy. Will he do it around the corner? As we approach the finishing flag right now, no, Paul Sheen still in second spot, Spider in third, Martin Horson fourth, Russell Brown in fifth, and Daryl Harrison in last position. That was pretty exciting, Lyndon.
Yeah, Spider doing it with a bit of style there. Did his best, but just couldn't quite pull it off.
These guys push for a start now. There we go, we're off. Spider McCarthy leads the field away from Paul Sheen, pushing up very quick on the outside. Chris Waters there, still in second position away from Paul Sheen. Third spot, still with Paul Sheen. Fourth spot, Martin Horson. Fifth spot, Russell Brown. And in sixth position, Daryl Harrison. Spider away to a nice, handy little lead now around the Deakin Avenue turn. Chris Waters still in second spot. Paul Sheen trying very hard in third. Fourth, Martin Horson in the Black Commodore. Russell Brown in the Morello's Ford in fifth. With Daryl Harrison still back at the rear of the field. Come on, Darren. As we go back into the Deakin Avenue corner down the back straight, it's Spider McCarthy by a long way now over Chris Waters. Paul Sheen in third spot. Martin Horson, Russell Brown, Daryl Harrison back down the main straight into the pit corner. Still Spider, Peter McCarthy. They call him Spider because he's all arms and legs, I think, in that car. I wonder if that's it. Paul Sheen there making a move on Chris Waters there in the NZ Falcon. Martin Horson still back in fourth position, trying hard. Daryl Harrison now picked up a spot on Russell Brown in the Morello's Ford. Back down the main straight around the pit corner once more. Spider still way out in the front. There's a big tussle here for second spot now with Paul Sheen and Chris Waters. Little push. Paul Sheen up to a few tricks out there by the look of it as we come around the Deakin Avenue turn down the main straight once more. It's still Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters, Paul Sheen, Martin Horson, Daryl Harrison, Russell Brown. Back into the pit corner once more. It's Spider by a long way. He's a country mile in front. Doing very well, Spider. Second position goes to Chris Waters in the NZ Falcon as we approach now for the last lap. The white flag's out. It's still Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters, Paul Sheen, Martin Horson, Daryl Harrison and Russell Brown in last position. These guys go around down the pit corner, down the back straight now for the last time. The tussles for second and third. Not for first. Spider McCarthy's got that. He's blitzed it in. Spider McCarthy, these guys push. Paul Sheen, can you do it? No. Chris Waters in second spot. Paul Sheen third. Martin Horson fourth. Daryl Harrison in fifth. And Russell Brown in sixth spot.
Spider has got that car thumping, hasn't he?
Oh, he's doing well, this lad. I talked to him about a month ago, and he told me that as we come around now for a start, bunched up, ready to go. Okay, they're racing. Daryl Harrison out in first position there as he pushes around the pit corner. Russell Brown, Martin Horson, Spider McCarthy around the outside, giving Russell Brown a little push, trying to push through. Chris Waters there. These guys are straight into it from the word go. Daryl Harrison out in front, he'll like that. Russell Brown, Spider McCarthy, Martin Horson, Chris Waters, Paul Sheen. Come on, Paul. So they go around the pit corner once more. It's still Daryl Harrison in front of Russell Brown. The two boys out in front. They like this. Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters in fourth position, Martin Horson fifth, Paul Sheen in sixth. As they go around the Deakin Avenue turn once more, it's still Daryl Harrison. Spider McCarthy pushing a little hard, Chris Waters, Russell Brown, Martin Horson, Paul Sheen getting a little lift around that corner there, around the pit corner, down the back straight now once again. Spider McCarthy pushing up here, trying to overtake Daryl Harrison. Let's see if he can do around this corner. Chris Waters there not far behind in third spot. Russell Brown, Paul Sheen, Martin Horson in last spot. As they go back down the main straight, down to the pit corner once more, it's Daryl Harrison, Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters, Russell Brown, Paul Sheen getting up on the inside of Russell Brown, Martin Horson still back at the rear of the field. Chris Waters here trying to get Spider. Daryl Harrison seems to be holding the pace back a little. Spider on the inside. Will he get him? No. Yes, no, yes. Yes, around the pit corner, it's Spider McCarthy, Daryl Harrison. Great racing here from Daryl Harrison. It's good to see him out. Chris Waters in third position. Paul Sheen, Martin Horson, Russell Brown. To go back around the pit, the Deakin Avenue turn for once more down the main straight. It's Spider McCarthy, Daryl Harrison, Chris Waters in the NZ Ford, Paul Sheen, Martin Horson. Russell Brown seems to have a problem here with the Falcon as we go around the pit corner once more down the back straight. It's Spider McCarthy, Daryl Harrison still in second position. Chris Waters giving a little nudge there, telling him he's there. Here we go, let's see, boys. Let's take you on the inside, says Chrissy Waters. Can he do it? No, he can't. Chrissy Waters still in third position. Paul Sheen in fourth. Martin Horson fifth. Russell Brown having a few problems. We'll forget about him for now. It's Spider McCarthy down the back straight, followed by Daryl Harrison. Car number 9, the NZ Ford. Chris Waters, Paul Sheen fifth, fourth. Martin Horson fifth. Spider McCarthy now, one more lap. Last lap, white flags are out. Daryl Harrison in second. He'll be enjoying this one, boys and girls. Chris Waters, the NZ Ford in third spot. Paul Sheen, Martin Horson. Definitely Russell Brown having some problems there. The car misfiring as we come around the Deakin Avenue turn for once more. It's Spider McCarthy takes first position. Daryl Harrison in second. Chris Waters in third. Paul Sheen fourth, and Martin Hawson in fifth. Very exciting racing there, Linton.
Terrific stuff from the boys. They really put the pedal down and give it to it. The Murillo car looking pretty ordinary there, blowing a bit of smoke. I hope they don't have a terminal problem there.
Oh, the A modified, we've got a ring in down there in 66. We'll try and pick up the name. It's one of the ops drivers from the Riverland who wasn't in the program, but that's Chris Waters out there in the NZ car leading the field from Martin Graham's, I'd say it is, following. A couple of those cars weren't there. Marie Petton on the inside getting into a little bit of trouble. Spider McCarthy on the outside. Martin Horst a little further back from Daryl Harrison. Right at the rear of the field is car number 18 of Russell Brown, the first time that car's been out racing this season. But the NZ Ford of Chris Waters, he got that fired up for the last meeting and has continued on right through to this one. We're going to see a little bit of an argument going on back there, and I think it's the girls and the boys having a bit of a battle. Marie Petton and Spider McCarthy decided to go parking on the infield. That's not quite the place to do it. Chris Waters has those quicker cars pretty close to him this time as he goes through the pit corner for the first time after the restart. There's a battle. Look at this, the two Martys. Marty Rams on the outside and Martin Hawson in car number 70 on the inside down the far side straight. It's Rams who has more power into the Deacon Avenue corner. Rams has gone out a little bit wide. That could allow Martin Hawson, and it does. He just gets the nose in front. And it's Daryl Harrison in 23 doing pretty well. Daryl moved up from the P-modifieds this season. This is probably one of the best races that he's run against the A-graders. He's got some pretty good drivers behind him there as Daryl Harrison. Up in fourth place at the moment. He should be able to move into third on the inside of Martin Rams through the Deacon Avenue corner. Chris Waters still doing it pretty well out in front. Martin Hawson, Daryl Harrison's going to take on Martin Hawson now as well. Around the outside through the pit corner. Hawson with a bit more steam coming out of the corner. Martin Rams going through underneath Daryl Harrison. He took that third place out again. And there's Paul Sheen in 16, a little bit of a nudge. He's going to go through the inside as well. Where's Spider McCarthy? He's been cut right out of contention in this particular race. It's Hawson still in second place. This time it's Rams around the outside. What a battle those three fellows are having down there. It's Paul Sheen who's moved up into third place at the moment. Martin Rams dropping back a little bit. Martin Hawson is going to feel the wrath of Paul Sheen now as he comes up behind. Is he good enough to hold him out? A little bit to go yet in this race. Sheen, probably the more experienced driver, is right on the tail of Martin Hawson. It's no good worrying about Chris Waters, or Chris Waters might worry him. So I think there might be a little bit of smoke just puffed out of the back of that car. The Ford doing it very well out in front, but I don't like the look of that little trail of smoke. Chris Waters still way up there in first place. Martin Hawson doing it comfortably in second place, and Martin Rams and Harrison still there with him. And Spider McCarthy has moved up through the field. Then Ron Belshaw, Rodney Ops, and Brown, and Paul Sheen has dropped out of contention back to the rear of the field there with Marie Petton. Well, it's still Chris Waters, and I think it's one lap and just a little bit left to go. One lap as they go past this time. The NZ car way out in front. Martin Hawson still hanging on there, and the battle still going on for the minor placing with Daryl Harrison on the inside. But in third place, it's still Martin Rams. Spider McCarthy trying to pick up a couple more points around the outside of Daryl Harrison. Down the far side straight, and surprises, I think Harold Sheen sitting there on the outside. Our leader's gone past, so it's Hawson, Harrison, and there's an A-modified feature coming up a little bit later on in the season. But
heat number 4, fasten your...
Going to try and go around the outside. Yes, Rod Obst in there, back in second place on the outside. And I'm just watching for Chris Waters to see if he's gone through. He's picked up 2 or 3 positions already. But it's Daryl Harrison having a great night out in front from Brown, and then Martin Hawson and Obst in fourth place. Somebody having trouble right at the rear of the field. That's Belshaw not doing too well at all. And by G, the number 23 of Daryl Harrison certainly is going well tonight. On the outside, we've got, here it is. Belshaw looks like he's going to come down and have a little bit of a chat to the steward. Ron Belshaw. Righto, they're away, and look at Chris Waters move out. Marie Pedden also went out very wide, and I reckon Chris Waters will round up the entire field in the first corner. Well, he's got them all but one. In second place now to Daryl Harrison, and Daryl Harrison's going to know he's racing with the A-graders now, as Waters in the NZ car dived down underneath Harrison, seemed to pull up a little bit then. He's got the nose in front now, and Chris Waters will take some heading. Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson, Martin Rams, Rodney Ops, Marie Pedden, and car number 18 of Russell Brown at the rear of the field. We've got a bit of a battle going on past the pit gate there with those three cars back in about 4th, 5th and 6th places, but that leading car of Chris Waters, number 9, is certainly going to take some running down. It looks like the track's in need of some water, starting to dry out a little bit. Daryl Harrison still doing very well there in second place. Martin Horson and Martin Rams once again are going to have a private little battle all of their own. They've done that before many times. A couple of car lengths separating them, with the Martin Horson a little bit in front, but Martin Rams coming down hard on the back of him into the Deacon Avenue corner. Thought he might go around the outside. Not able to do that. Marie Pedden's now having the pressure put on by the other South Australian driver there, and Rod Hobbs. They're going to have their private little battle back there in 5th and 6th places as well. And even Russell Brown's going to put the foot down and try and chase him up just a little. Look at the NZ car. I hope that's not a hose that's broken down there, but Chris Waters certainly in a little bit of trouble now. Is that smoke, steam, or is that tyre rubber being burnt out the back as he goes round the... I think it might be tyre rubber. Seems to come out when he goes round the corner. Well, Chris, I don't know if you can see what's back there in your rear vision mirror, son, but you're not going to go terribly far. Smoking like that. We'll probably get a whiff of it up here and be able to tell you what it is. Russell Brown also smoking just a little bit. At least with Chris Waters pouring out smoke like that, the other driver's nowhere to go. Just follow the trail. It's one way to keep in touch with him. Second place there is Daryl Harrison, getting lost in the smoke a little bit now at 23. He's not going to catch Chris Waters, but by gee, nobody else is going to catch him either. We've still got the two Martins having their battle, and Brown and Pedden having a battle back there, and now it's Ops trying to go, and he doesn't want to come last either. Almost got taken over the inside of the track as he went inside Marie Pedden down the far side. That one lap left to go for the leading car of Chris Waters. A long way back is Daryl Harrison in second place. Look at the battle going on for third. It's still Martin Horson with Martin Rams on the outside. Horson only has to hang on for one more, and that's Ops has gone into the infield fairly quickly then. And a couple of cars slowing down. Where are we gone? We've got the yellow light. I'm not quite sure what pulled us up then. Right, the whole place, you could give it to him now before the last race of the night. And it's Rodney Austin first place. But watch the number 9 NZ car go around the outside of the field. Quite honestly, he probably doesn't have a lot of opposition there tonight. Daryl Harrison has been the best of them. Martin Horson's got himself into trouble very early in the piece up there. That track's going to be pretty slick on the inside. And look at those cars going sideways all over the place. And we're going to get a little bit of a bingo, a little bit of a nudge. Martin Horson into Martin Rams. The light's on. They're still racing. They're not going to stop it. Martin Rams off the track. He's going to get himself back on. And let's go back to the leaders. And it's Daryl Harrison with the best night of racing he's had for a long time. A little bit lucky to come out of that, I guess, out in front. And that track is a little bit slick. Watch them lose it down there, out in the dirt. And it's Ops in second place, and Chris Waters in third, starting to move up on them now. Martin Horson and Russell Brown. That's Chris Waters in second place at this stage, past the Swamp Cafe. Somebody else has called it a day. That's Martin Rams pulled up. And watch them come around that field, the corner down there, the Deacon Avenue bend. They're not quite used to the condition of that track at the moment. Those sprint cars have really smoothed the top of the track out and made it very, very flat, and the cars seem to be sliding a lot more. Chris Waters, in fact, having a lot of trouble trying to catch up to Daryl Harrison. Daryl Harrison, in his first year of A modified driving, has moved up from the B graders. I think the boys have decided they can't put the foot down quite as much as they would like to. Getting used to the track just a little bit more. They're fairly well spread out, coming around the pit corner, and it's no change in the position. Martin Horson thinks he's too good a driver to be that far back in the field. He had a little bit of a problem in that early lap when he got up into the sand. Doesn't want to do that again. But boy, look at Daryl Harrison in the car number 23. They're having a great dice tonight, and at the rear of the field we've got almost Russell Brown and Martin Horson having a little bit of a problem there as Martin tossed the rear of the car sideways. Chris Waters still trying desperately to catch up to Daryl Harrison out there in first place. I think he may have closed the gap a very, very minute bit, but he doesn't really seem to be able to make much leeway. I think he's hoping that perhaps Daryl might slide that car out just a little bit and let him move through there. find the changes to the placings. And a nudge at the back, and it's Martin Horson and Brown again at the rear of the field. Those two fellas might have a friendly chat after the meeting. And this time Waters trying to go around the outside, not quite good enough. Back on the inside, only one car length separating the two of them now. Perhaps a couple as they go down the straight. Chris Waters thinks he's in a good position now to take over that first place. Through the Deacon Avenue corner once again. And Waters now is going to make a move. Can't be too many laps left to go. And I think the tyres might be squirreling just a little bit down there. Both drivers a little bit careful not to get out in the dirt. And it looks like we've lost Martin Horson. He took a shortcut across the Deacon Avenue corner. Not going to affect the final placings terribly much. Just 1 and a bit laps left to go in the final race of the night here at Timmis Speedway tonight. And look at Chris Waters try and make up some ground on Daryl Harrison. He's got 1 lap left to do it. Closed right up. This is about as close as he's been for the entire race. Harrison, I think, might hold on. Waters has gone very high past the Swamp Cafe. He's going to dive down low. One last-ditch effort to try and get in front. I don't think he's quite going to do it as Daryl Harrison wins the final of the A modifieds. And I said earlier in the night it looked like the best night Daryl Harrison was going to have with the A mods since he'd moved up into that class. And to come home in front of the number 9 NZ car, lead the field the whole race. A great effort from Daryl Harrison, and he's certainly started to find his place there with the A graders.
What the problem was there, I think that maybe Ian O'Rourke was meant to be starting from the rear.
Harrison, Martin Horson, Michael Obst. Okay, they're away. Paul Sheen with a good start. Daryl Harrison on the outside of him. Martin Horson, Spider McCarthy quick to react. Rodney Strother around the outside with Michael Obst on the inside. The NZ Falcon not doing too well there for Chris Waters behind them. Russell Brown, the Morello's Falcon, just behind those. A lot of push and shove down the back straight there as we come out now into the Deacon Avenue turn. It's still Paul Sheen doing very well, car number 16. Daryl Harrison, Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters, Rodney Strother, Martin Horson, Russell Brown, and the boy from Renmark, Michael Obst. They're dropping back into last position as we go down the back straight to the Deacon Avenue turn now. Spider McCarthy making his mark up into second position. Paul Sheen still out in front. Daryl Harrison in third position. Chris Waters pushing there very hard down the main straight, back into fourth spot. Number 5, Rodney Strother there. Martin Horson, Russell Brown, Michael Obst. A lot of pushing and shoving now as they go around the pit turn down the back straight. It's still Paul Sheen by a long way. Doing it in style out in front there, Paul. Very, very good work. Spider McCarthy just behind him. Daryl Harrison, Chris Waters making a move up the inside. Let's see, can he get around him on the pit turn? A little bit of push and shove, a little bumping there around the pit turn. Yes, he does. In the third position goes Chris Waters in the NZ Falcon. Will Daryl take it back down the back straight? Trying very hard. No, he can't. We've got Rodney Strother back there. Russell Brown, Martin Horson. A lot of pushing and shoving back here. The action's in third spot with Daryl Harrison and Chris Waters. Daryl Harrison taking third position back. Still Paul Sheen a long way out now as they go around the pit turn, down the back straight. Spider McCarthy in second spot. Daryl Harrison in third. Good driving there by Daryl. Very, very hard he's trying tonight as we go down the main straight once more now for the last lap for Paul Sheen. First position, Spider McCarthy in second in the Commodore. Third spot still Daryl Harrison, Chris Waters, Rodney Strother, Russell Brown. Martin Horson pulls to the inside. Is he going to keep going? No. Michael Obst back in last position now. Martin Horson out as we go into the Deacon Avenue turn for the last time. Paul Sheen. Spider McCarthy trying hard, but no, it goes to Paul Sheen. Second spot, Spider McCarthy. Third position, Daryl Harrison. He'll be happy with that. Chris Waters with fourth, the NZ Commodore. Rodney Strother in fifth. Morello's Russell Brown in sixth. Then we've got Michael Obst and Martin Horson in last position. And they're away. Russell Brown the inside. Chris Waters on the outside of him. Spider McCarthy. Paul Sheen. Michael Obst. Rodney Strother trying to push his way through there. Martin Horson just back. And we've got Daryl Harrison right at the rear of the field. They come out of the back straight now, down the Deacon Avenue turn. It's Chris Waters opening up a nice little break over Russell Brown. Spider McCarthy, Paul Sheen, Michael Obst, Rodney Strother, Daryl Harrison and Martin Horson at the rear of the field still. As they go out of the pit turn now, back down the back straight, it's the NZ Ford of Chris Waters out in a little way in front now of Spider McCarthy. Spider tried to reel him in now around the Deacon Avenue turn. Can he do it down the main straight? Tries very hard as Spider McCarthy usually will. Russell Brown still back in third position. Paul Sheen back in fourth. Rodney Strother just behind him. Michael Obst. Daryl Harrison now around the inside of Michael Obst. Takes him up the inside. Daryl Harrison. This is Martin Horson just behind him. As we go down the main straight now, back into the pit corner, it's still the NZ Ford of Chris Waters. Spider McCarthy pushing very hard, a lot of pressure, a little push and shove. I know Spider would like to get past him down the back straight as they come into the Deakin Avenue turn. He's going to try him on the inside. Will he take him? No, very nice, close racing there as they come back into the main straight. Paul Sheen in there with a chance in third spot, trying to take Spider McCarthy around the outside. Will he take him? No. Russell Brown keeping up with him very well this week. Rodney Strother, Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson, Michael Obst. So get down the back straight now, back into the Deakin Avenue turn one more time. It's Chris Waters in the NZ Ford, car number 9. Spider McCarthy very close behind him for the last time. On the last lap, the white flag's out. Still, Chris Waters, Spider McCarthy, Paul Sheen, Russell Brown, Rodney Strother, Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson and Michael Obst in last place. They go down the back straight for the last time this race. Into the Deakin Avenue turn, still Chris Waters with a nice little lead there over Spider McCarthy, and he takes it out. Chris Waters, Spider McCarthy, Paul Sheen, Russell Brown, he'd be happy with the 4th. Rodney Strother, Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson and Michael Obst at the rear of the field.
We've got Peter Logue at the rear of the field. Well, he's not at the rear of the field for very long. He's up there in third place already. That will be Thetford down there in car number 3, the Americans. We've got the Australians 2 and 3, and this is going to be a pretty close race with the Americans out in front. Peter Logue there, then Burke. And then Shrive is it in last place. Have a look at these first 2 cars, because Peter Logue, if anybody, has got the ability to go past Thetford. Into the pit corner again, and I can hear the crowd cheering for Logue there. They want him to pick up that extra placing. They need another one to keep this lead that they've got in place. And the American in 4th place, Shive, has passed Burke. So the American sitting in a good position there to pick up extra points. And is he going to lose it? Thetford, that a bit of a lose coming out of the Deakin Avenue corner, and that was all Peter Logue needed to go past on the outside. He certainly didn't need a second chance to get through there. Peter Logue way out in front now, opening up a good lead, and Thetford will be kicking himself for that little lose coming out of the Deakin Avenue corner. Let's hope Peter Logue doesn't do the same thing. Coming down now for the bell lap. One left to go. It's Logue, Thetford, Shrive and Burke in last place at this stage. If they finish that way, it will still keep Australia in front on the points, because they'll come out of this particular heat equal on points for the heat. Through the Deakin Avenue corner for the last time, and they're really trying. And look at Peter Logue go way out in front. Then it's Thetford, then it's Shive, and then Burke. So we picked up 3 points apiece. A foot down, and they start.
The guys go for a start now. Out of the back straight into the Deakin Avenue turn. Will we get a start first off? They're ready to rock and roll. Okay, off we go. Not expecting that one. The guys swamped Michael Obst straight away into the pit turn. First spot, we got Rodney Strother. Daryl Harrison pushing very hard. Naughty boy, Daryl. Russell Brown just behind him. Spider McCarthy making a move up the outside. Chris Waters, a little push and shove there on Russell Brown. Behind him, we've got Paul Sheen and Martin Horson still at the rear of the field. Okay, into the pit turn once more. It's Rodney Strother. Spider McCarthy making his move around the outside now. Nice and wide. Spider, will he get him? Yes, he will. Daryl Harrison sneaks up the inside now. Russell Brown just behind those guys. Michael Obst. Chris Waters. Paul Sheen a long way back. That's not like Paul. Martin Horson still at the back of the field. Down the Deakin Avenue turn now into the main straight. It's Spider McCarthy. Daryl Harrison. Lost Daryl there for a second. Rodney Strother. Russell Brown. Chris Waters. Paul Sheen, Michael Obst now back way out of it. Martin Horson at the rear of the field. Round the Deakin Avenue turn once more. Spider McCarthy by a long way in front of Daryl Harrison. Rodney Strother in third spot. Russell Brown, Chris Waters, Paul Sheen, Michael Obst, and still at the rear of the field, having a few problems still, is Martin Horson. As they get in the back straight once more into the Deakin Avenue turn one more time. Another lap down for Spider McCarthy, a long way out in front, number 6. A little bit of smoke there out of Russell Brown's car. So come back into the pit turn once more. It's still Daryl Harrison in second spot. Rodney Strother in third. Chris Waters around the outside of Russell Brown. Paul Sheen now making his move down the back straight on Russell Brown. Chris Waters 3 wide as they go into the turn. Still Spider McCarthy by a long way as he crosses for another lap. Daryl Harrison in second spot. Rodney Strother in third. Chris Waters in fourth. Fifth spot. Paul Sheen, Russell Brown, Michael Obst, and still back in last place, Martin Horson. Well, this guy Spider's proving his point. He's a long way in front. He's got the Commodore wound right up as he goes down the main straight for one more lap. Chris Waters down, no, will he hit him? Good driving, boys. Okay, as we go for a start now, Spider McCarthy still, Daryl Harrison, Rodney Strother, Chris Waters, Russell Brown, Michael Obst, Paul Sheen and Martin Horson. Indian file now as they go around, one behind the other. Not too many movers out there. Spider McCarthy still a long way in front as he goes around the Deacon Avenue turn. Daryl Harrison having a little trouble controlling the car. Bit of smoke still from Russell Brown's car. Rodney Strother in third, Chris Waters fourth, Russell Brown fifth. Little duel here between Paul Sheen and Michael Obst. Paul Sheen now passes Michael, little nudge in the back panel there as they go down the back straight into the Deacon Avenue turn once more. Still Spider McCarthy by a long way, nice and wide. Keep it in, Spider. Daryl Harrison still just behind him in second spot. Third position, Chris Waters gets the flag, a naughty boy, Chris. Fourth spot, Rodney Strother. Fifth spot, still a little smoke coming out the back. Russell Brown in the Morellos forward. Paul Sheen just behind him. That's a long way back for Paul. Okay, as we go around the Deacon Avenue turn once more. And Spider McCarthy takes it out by a long way. Daryl Harrison, Chris Waters in third. Fourth spot, Rodney Strother, Russell Brown, Paul Sheen, Michael Obst and Martin Horson.
Russell Brown may have been tyre smoke. It seemed to pop up just as he got into a certain position. Daryl Harrison on the outside there in number 23 should do fairly well. And look at Sheen go around the outside. They're pretty good mates, these two, but I'll bet they're not right at this stage. And Harrison could get sandwiched between Russell Brown and Paul Sheen. But he's got the last laugh because the nose is just out in front, but Russell Brown just edging him out as they go past the Swamp Cafe. Harrison not going to back off too much through the Deacon Avenue corner, although he's now lost a couple of positions because Spider McCarthy has slipped through there too. Half of Martin Horson's car hanging off the back, and it's now in the middle of the track. So the boys will be slowed down, and they're having a fair sort of a battle out there too. This is going to be a good race.
Unless they cricky come out, everybody sort of
looks the other way.
Yeah, they don't know what to do they?
We've got another birthday call, and it's happy birthday to Sandra Clark. Position there. We should be pretty well right for a start, and they're away, and look at Sheen go around the outside. I think he must have heard you say that, John, and he's going to try to prove you wrong through the pit corner. Right around the outside, Paul Sheen picked up a couple of places, in third place at the moment. Still Russell Brown in number 18 out there in first place going into the Deacon Avenue corner with Spider McCarthy on his tail, and Sheen is going for it around the outside. Daryl Harrison back there at the moment in about fourth place with Chris Waters in the NZ car, and then Martin Horson at the rear of the field at number 70. Down the far straight, Russell Brown, this is a bit of a shock. That car is going like the clappers, and we've never seen Russell Brown drive like this before in car number 18, doing very, very well, particularly to hold Spider McCarthy back there. Spider's been beating all this season, and Russell Brown is out there, well, at this stage, keeping Spider behind him, but look at McCarthy go around the outside.
More power down the back straight, Alan.
Yes, he certainly has. McCarthy picks him up on the bends around the outside. I don't think he will this time. Got himself in a little bit of trouble, but he certainly loses ground down the straight. That's Chris Waters, who's moved up there into third place now. I'm not sure where Paul Sheen's gone. He's dropped right to the rear of the field. Watching the leading cars there just a little bit too much, and we lost track of a couple of the others. Daryl Harrison back in fourth place from Martin Horson and Paul Sheen, but have a look at Brown go down the straight once again. Has he got that car going? Chris Waters has moved right up there to put the pressure on them. Through the pit corner now, it could get dicey. Waters with the nose right up there, down the straight. Spider McCarthy has asked that car for everything it can give him down the straight this time. A little bit of the lap left to go, 1/4 of a lap, and let's have a look at him. And Russell Brown from Spider McCarthy, Chris Waters, Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson and Paul Sheen.
Well, that's great, Alan.
Well, we don't need a lot of cars when they race like that. As we prove a moving car, steering over the last couple of weeks. And he doesn't appear to be having too much trouble now as Martin Horson tried to take on Chris Waters right from the start. Look at him go around the outside through the pit corner. Waters in the NZ car got a little bit of a flash on then. He's opened up a lead now for Martin Horson. Russell Brown is continuing on the way he went in the first heat through the Deacon Avenue corner. He's in third place. Waters threads the tail out a little bit. It's Daryl Harrison up there beside Brown. Have a look at this. Paul Sheen and Spider McCarthy at the rear of the field. Well, how things have changed in the A modifieds, and I don't think it's because those two have got any slower. I think it's because this opposition is fairly picked up. We've got half a dozen class cars out there going through the Deacon Avenue corner. Look at Chris Waters throw it through the corner. Right on his tail. Martin Horson, no problem with the steering now. Russell Brown, Paul Sheen, Spider McCarthy. No, it wasn't. It was Paul Sheen moved up there. And Daryl Harrison has dropped back into last place. Brown in trouble now. Went up too wide. That allowed a couple through. And Harrison said, I'm going through too while the gate's still open. Almost got there. Brown didn't like that. He's been relegated back to last place. I'm not sure what happened then. Three cars past him pretty quickly. No, three pretty quick cars though. And look at Chris Waters out there in front, past the Swamp Cafe down the back straight. He's a long way in front. Martin Horson, probably his best race for a couple of weeks at this stage. Look at it, no problem with the steering now out of the Deakin Avenue corner. A beautiful line as the car came out. A fair gap then back to Paul Sheen, Spider McCarthy, Darryl Harrison and Russell Brown. Through the pit corner once again. They're not racing as closely as they did last time, but there's a fair bit of pace on and all cars handling it fairly well. I think the best dice we're going to see is back there in third position, coming through the Deakin Avenue corner. 1 lap left to go. And it's Paul Sheen and Spider McCarthy who are going to provide the fireworks for the last lap, I think. But they've opened themselves up a car length separating the two at this stage. Starting to catch up to Martin Horson. Chris Waters out in front is doing it comfortably. He's going to win this race and win it easily. Look at these cars in third and fourth position. Second place is Horson. And it's 16 just in second place. Paul Sheen from Spider McCarthy. And I've had a note in my pocket there that I was to put over a little while ago.
Horson, Chris Waters. The guy's ready for a start. Paul Sheen very quick back. Chris Waters around the outside with a big burst and nice. He's closing into it. So let it go. A bit of pushing and shoving down there in the pit turn as they get down the back straight. It's Paul Sheen by a little over 2 car lengths to Spider McCarthy. In third spot we've got Martin Horson. Just behind him, Darryl Harrison. Then we've got Russell Brown and Chrissy Waters right back there in last spot in the NZ4. He won't like that as they go around the pit turn one more time. It's Spider McCarthy out in front of Paul Sheen. Back in third spot, we've got Martin Horson, then Darryl Harrison. Russell Brown, little smoke. I don't know whether it's tyre smoke or engine smoke coming out the back of his car. Chris Waters in the forward, still a long way back. Back from first spot. First spot still going to Spider McCarthy as he goes around the pit turn down the back straight one more time. Spider McCarthy over Paul Sheen. Third spot, Martin Horson, Darryl Harrison, Russell Brown, and Chris Waters still back in last position. More smoke coming from the back of Russell's car. As they go down the main straight one more time, one more lap down as into the pit turn. It's still Spider McCarthy. Peter McCarthy, known as Spider, in first spot. As they go down the back straight now, Paul Sheen in second, car number 16. Martin Horson, 70 in third. Darryl Harrison moves up quickly to challenge him on the inside. Chris Waters making a little move now, trying to work his way up to the field, and Russell Brown in last spot as they go around the pit turn, down past the clubhouse one more time, down the back straight past the Swamp Cafe. It's still Spider McCarthy in first spot. Second, Paul Sheen. Third, Martin Horson, Darryl Harrison, and Chris Waters and Russell Brown having a little dice at the rear of the field there, the two forwards. As they go down the main straight one more time, it's still Spider McCarthy first. Second spot, Paul Sheen. Third, Martin Horson, Darryl Harrison, Chris Waters and Russell Brown. Down the back straight into the Deakin Avenue turn, past the Deakin Bistro. One more time, down past the box. It's Spider McCarthy in the Commodore, first spot. Paul Sheen in the forward second, a real Ford Holden deal here. Martin Horson in third. Fourth spot, another Ford, Darryl Harrison, another Ford, Chris Waters and another Russell Brown. As they go down the back straight one more time into the Deakin Avenue turn. Still Spider McCarthy in for the last lap now. They're on the white flag. Spider McCarthy in first spot. Paul Sheen second. Third going to Martin Horson so far. A lot more smoke there out of Russell Brown's car. Darryl Harrison, Chris Waters, Russell Brown at the rear as they go down the back straight for the last time this race into the Deakin Avenue turn. A few flames there from the exhaust of Spider McCarthy's Commodore. He's going like hell. Spider McCarthy in first spot. Second, Paul Sheen in the forward. Third, Martin Horson. Fourth, Darryl Harrison. Chris Waters. I don't know whether it's tyre smoke or engine smoke. It seems to only come out around the turns.
There's a big puff of it that time, but it may be tyre smoke. Let's, yeah, when he's turning that way. Oh, no, that doesn't look like tyre smoke.
No, roar after that first race. Okay, we're off and ready. Paul Sheen has a little look in the inside there of Chris Waters. Darryl Harrison tries to go right around the outside straight away into the pit turn. No, and it's Chris Waters who leads the way into the back straight over Darryl Harrison on the outside. Paul Sheen right in behind him. Martin Horson, Russell Brown. Spider McCarthy still down the rear of the field. As we go around the Deakin turn now into the main straight, it's Chris Waters over Paul Sheen. Darryl Harrison, Martin Horson just in the inside of him. Spider McCarthy picked up one spot already over Russell Brown. So go down the main straight into the pit turn. Let's straighten up now for the back straight one more time. It's still Chris Waters in the NZ Ford over another Ford Cortina of Paul Sheen. Martin Horson in the Commodore. Just around the outside now. Spider McCarthy sneaks up the inside, steals some space. Darryl Harrison run back now to second last. Will he be in? Yes, he's right at the rear now. Russell Brown sneaks up the inside of him as they go around the pit turn, back into the back straight. Still Chris Waters, these guys pushing him hard behind. Martin Horson on the inside. Paul Sheen on the outside. Spider McCarthy just in behind those. They go around the Deakin Avenue turn. Back into the main straight one more time. It's still Chris Waters holding off the Holdens in behind him. The battle of the Holdens. We've got the black number 70 there of Martin Horson still pushing on the inside now for second place. Martin doing well in this race. He'll be happy with himself. He hasn't had great form this season. Pushing very hard. He says, I'm going to try to sneak on the inside. Takes off over the pole line. No, backs off a little. Still Chris Waters. Spider McCarthy not taking long to get right up there in the action. He's going to try to take them all around the outside. It's still Chris Waters in first spot. Second spot still Martin Horson. Third, Spider McCarthy. Paul Sheen, Darryl Harrison, Russell Brown back in last spot. As we go down the back straight, back into the Deakin Avenue turn one more time. Still Chris Waters just gets a little look at the pole line there. Back into the main straight, Chris Waters, Martin Horson, Spider McCarthy, Paul Sheen, Darryl Harrison, Russell Brown slowing down. Hope he doesn't have a problem this early in the night. As they go back down the main straight now, approaching the Deakin Avenue turn. Spider McCarthy makes a big run up the inside of Martin Horson. They both get a little bit sideways. Martin takes off over the pole line. Chris Waters still in first spot, back into the pit turn. Martin Horson on the inside of Spider McCarthy. I don't know how long he'll hold him off for. Spider pretty keen. Paul Sheen in behind those in fourth. Darryl Harrison. Russell Brown is still a mile back. We'll forget Russell. He can drive around for a while. Now Spider has a look around the outside. Martin Horson getting a little sideways. And Paul Sheen tries to... Here we go. He sneak up the inside. Spider McCarthy, they're on the last lap now into the pit turn for the last time this race. Back into the main back straight. Still Chris Waters in the NZ forward. Martin Horson. Oh, little nudge there from Martin. Spiders. Oh. These guys, they always put on a great show, the A Modifieds. Chris Waters in first spot. Martin Horson second. Oh, it'll be interesting for third. I think Spider McCarthy.
Should get a start very slowly out of the corner. We've got the green light and they're on, and that's Tate on the outside of John Hughes through the pit corner for the first time. Tate out very wide. Reichstein having some problems there as one car straight through on the inside of him. And look at that car. That will be Scotcher, I think, moving up very quickly. A lot of bumps as they go through that corner. But the car out in front at the moment is car 69, Hughes from Tate. Is that Scotcher on the outside? Gavin McKecker, I think, in fourth place at this stage. Gary Cook a little bit further back there. Reichstein has dropped a fair way back. Meant to play right at the rear of the field, throwing the car all over the place there, bouncing a little bit through the Deakin Avenue corner, and no change in the leading cars, but it looks like Scotcher is out there to catch up with John Hughes. There's only one car. There was one car separating them. Look at Brad Scotcher go through on the inside. No, a little bit more power by Hughes on the outside, and that will be Gary Cook, I think, right on their tail. No, it's not. It's McKecker in third place. Gary Cook a little further back. Well, Scotcher and McKecker, and look at them going. This fella's going to have to drive pretty well to hold them out. Going past the pit gates now. Scotcher hanging on to second place. He can't quite close that gap between himself and Hughes out there in front. Closed right up as they go into the Deakin Avenue corner. It's still that same car out in front of Hughes. From Brad Scotcher, Gavin McKecker and Noel Reichstein, Gary Cook. Car number 11 was Craig Lockwood from Tasmania. And a little further back, we've got a couple of others we won't worry about at this stage. A little bit hard to get a change in positions up there at the leading cars in this field. Through the Deakin Avenue corner and bouncing over that inside pole line once again. It's still Hughes out in front from Brad Scotcher in second place. Got right up behind Hughes and Scotcher now. He's looking for a break down the outside, but swung the tail a little bit too far. And look at Reichstein trying to dive through on the inside of Gavin McKecker. And is Reichstein going to get through this time? And he shot through on that little low-lying car. 18 up there into third place. That's Noel Reichstein now. Just past Gavin McKecker and put him back to fourth place. Whereas Gary Cook, I think he's back in fifth. He's having a little bit of trouble getting out past him. I think one of those cars putting a little bit of smoke out. Back to the leading cars. It's still John Hughes out there in 69. And Reichstein's going after the lot of them tonight. He's trying to catch up to Brad Scotcher there. In third place is Reichstein. But not for long. Look at him get the nose of the car in front of Scotcher. Into the Deakin Avenue corner. Reichstein had to back off just a little bit, but he's going to stick with him right through the corner. There could be a touch here, not quite. It's still Scotcher in second place on the outside of Reichstein going through that corner, through the pit corner now. Reichstein hanging right under his tail. A great battle by the three cars out in front. And there's John Hughes in 69. He's driving a great race. He's managing to hold these fellows out. He's let them get close a couple of times, but they can't quite get past. Scotcher around the outside this time.
He's only got one lap left to do it. It looks like McEachran slowed down on the other side. I hope he doesn't cause problems. Down past the Swamp Cafe, it's still Hughes out in front of Scotcher. Noel Rakestein from Waikerie, one last-ditch effort to try and get through. If anybody makes a mistake here, they're gone. It's going to be Hughes from Scotcher, then Noel Rakestein. And back there in fourth place is Gary Cook at 11. It is Lockwood. Looks like Lockwood in the book. Let's see Lockwood. Couple of cars pulled out. That's Tate. One still going as Bill Metaplay. Oh, looks like we was right up there with them.
Certainly very exciting racing there. Okay, looks as though we've got a track maintenance now.
So I think it was breaking up just a little bit on the other side, John. Probably in the interest of safety, they'll try and get that levelled out again. The 18, that's all South Australian cars there. Noel Rakestein, the fastest lap time. Well, it was actually a little bit slow, 18.07 by car number 18. And the race time was 3 minutes, 0.05.
They're looking for it. Okay, off we go. Spider McCarthy already trying to make a big break around the outside of Martin Horson. He's got heaps of power too. Martin getting a little sideways there, loses it. Spider McCarthy leads the way down the back straight. Darryl Harrison now trying to take Martin Horson on the outside. Martin with the inside running, takes off over the pole line. Holds out Darryl Harrison. In behind him we've got Paul Sheen and Chris Waters down the rear of the field as we go down the main straight back into the pit turn one more time. Spider McCarthy, car number 6 out in front. Martin Horson in second spot, a little pushing and shoving there with Darryl Harrison. Paul Sheen just in behind him, and Chris Waters in the forward, not doing too well. We've opened up a bit of a break now, 4 or 5 car lengths. We've got the flag now on Martin Horson. On Darryl Harrison, sorry. Oh, Martin says, I think that was mine. Out he goes, I'll have a bit of a rest. Save a bit of fuel, the red lights are on.
I think I heard number 23 mentioned when that flag came out, the warning flag. I wonder what will happen now, because I think it was the same car that came to grips with Martin going past the pit gate.
Right, for a start, a little pushing and shoving there from Chris Waters. Okay, we're off and racing once again. Spider McCarthy takes a big lead straight away. He jumps out of the blocks and says, thank you, I'll take this. Martin Horson still in second spot. Paul Sheen pushing hard, trying to push Martin out of the way. Chris Waters not doing overly well tonight. He's dropping back a little already. Darryl Harrison pushing very hard from the rear of the field. As we go around the Deacon turn back into the main straight, still Spider McCarthy going a little wide there. Martin Horson getting a little shove from Paul Sheen. Darryl Harrison trying to pick up a spot on Chris Waters already, hits the pole line. Martin sideways again. Having a few problems with that corner tonight as the caution goes on. I think that'll be Martin's fault, that one by the look of it. We'll be looking for a start straight away. Okay, the guys are off. Let's see if we can do it again. Martin, there we go. Spider leads into the first corner. Martin Horson just in behind him. Chris Waters getting very, very tight behind Martin Horson. Almost happened again. Then we've got Darryl Harrison, Paul Sheen down the rear of the field as well. As they go back into the Deacon Avenue turn one more time. And still Spider McCarthy out in front, opening up that gap a little from Martin Horson. Chris Waters getting out a little wide there in the forward. Then we've got Darryl Harrison, Paul Sheen. As we go back into the pit turn one more time, in and out, very, very quickly indeed as we go down the back straight. But still, Spider McCarthy with a big power difference over the other boys. Martin Horson in second spot, car number 70, still on the track. He hasn't got sideways yet. A little bit sideways around that turn, but he's right. Okay, we're back on track. Somebody down the pit's using a welder, they're telling us. Okay, we're on the last lap now. We've got Chris Waters pulled off into the centre with problems. Okay, Spider McCarthy still in first spot. He's opening up the gap as the further they go, the further he gets in front. Martin Horson still out there in second position. Then we've got Paul Sheen, third spot. Darryl Harrison down the rear of the field as we go around the Deakin Avenue turn for the last time this race. And it's all Spider McCarthy all the way. Spider McCarthy in first spot, second Martin Horseman, third Paul Sheen, fourth Darryl Harrison. And we don't like to see Chris Waters pulled off into the centre of the field.
One of them, Billy Gance, is right up the front. Will he get a good start? I remember this bloke's not such a bad driver either. David O'Rourke also right in the middle, going to be sandwiched. And the three of them round the corner, one row of three and another row of four through the pit corner all at once. Will they all get through? Yes, they did. Where's David O'Rourke? Oh, one's gone. He'll go over. David's into the fence and he's over. David, now, fellows. Wow. Talk about cows in the paddock.
Well, at least the sign's up against the fence, Alan.
I hope they can read it, but David won't be too happy because it's not that long since he hit the fence. Now, that car spun out right in front of him, and David was forcing it along sideways until it rolled, but that helped to push his car. David O'Rourke's right over the top.
Did you notice who the other car was, Alan?
I did as it went, but I've forgotten. Slaps of racing left. I was going to say tonight, but this morning. And we will get a start straight away, and I don't know that Darryl Harrison will be able to hold Chris Waters out for the first corner. This will be some fairly close racing because these cars all pretty evenly matched. Spider McCarthy trying to get a breakthrough on the two leading cars. Harrison doing pretty well in 23, able to hold those other cars back out into the Deakin Avenue corner. If he goes out a bit wide, Waters will come through. Just a little bit of a nudge there. Chris Waters in second place. Spider McCarthy, then Paul Sheen at the rear of the field. Spider McCarthy trying a different tack, wants to go through on the inside of Chris Waters. I don't think there'll be too much separating these cars for the entire race. Darryl Harrison, in fact, has probably the biggest gap out there in front. Harrison in number 23, the newcomer to A Modifieds this season, doing fairly well at this stage. Out of the Deakin Avenue corner, he's out there in front, a couple of car lengths. Spider McCarthy wants to go around the outside of number 9, the NZ car of Chris Waters. McCarthy's dived down and gone through the inside of Waters, and Paul Sheen might just go through there as well. Well, Darryl Harrison is showing them all a clean pair of heels at the moment going into the Deakin Avenue corner. Darryl Harrison leads from Spider McCarthy. Waters has lost it and he almost wore Paul Sheen. Waters has tossed it on the opposite lock and I think he might have stalled the car on the corner. Now, I wouldn't dare say that the old trick will be to cause the race to stop so we can have a restart. And Chris will be right back up there, even if he's at the rear of the field. If he'd in fact be moved up into the A Modifieds. Righto, we got the green light and they're away, and have a look. Paul Sheen's the one trying to make a move. Chris Waters didn't get such a good start, but he's right up there with it. Look at those cars, almost all touching past the pit gates. Spider McCarthy's got the nose inside Darryl Harrison, and there's not much difference between the power of these cars. Who has got the most gumption to keep the foot down into the corner? And I think Darryl Harrison might have had then. He's kept himself in front of Spider McCarthy. Then it's Paul Sheen and Chris Waters. Maybe content just to roll around behind the fellows for the rest of the race, but that's not really like Chris Waters. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good formation around the pit corner. Past the Swamp Cafe. Darryl Harrison still in front. Spider McCarthy diving on the inside. Had to hit the brakes. That caused Paul Sheen to have to hit the brakes. Is Harrison going to lose it? He's going to lose it, and they're all into the fence. And there goes that front wheel of yours, Darryl. You've got a bit of a problem there. How's Paul going? Have a look at the matching paint jobs on these cars. They're fairly good mates, these two. I don't know how good a mates they'll be right at the moment, but they've pulled up right beside each other to just discuss the happenings as they came out of that Deakin Avenue corner. Well, Darryl's going to have a word to somebody, but I think Darryl actually lost it. He won't be racing again because that front wheel looks to be one hell of a mess. I think the bumper bar might have been pushed back. The tyre is obviously very, very flat. The wheel is bent at a horrible angle. I don't know that Paul Sheen sustained very much damage to his car. Right. The race has been declared. Yes, the race has been declared. What a way to finish the night. Well, we've had plenty of action. Spider McCarthy and Chris Waters are quite happy to be up there out of the way of all that. In fact, Darryl's probably lucky he didn't do what happened to Terry Staley before when David O'Rourke picked him up in the same fashion and rolled him right over. I'll give you some official placing soon if there's anybody left to hear them, but I'd say it was probably Spider McCarthy, then Chris Waters. Unless it was declared, they couldn't declare it going back a lap, I don't think, and actually give it to the people that stopped the race. So I will await those official placings. Remember this weekend, tomorrow... We've got car number 3 there of Raymond Victor. Then we've
we've got Paul Sheen, Chris Waters, Daryl Harrison. Happy birthday, Daryl. Number 5 there, Mal Paul. We'll leave that alone. Okay, as they come around now looking for a start. Okay, we're off and racing. Now we got Mr. Rude there, loses his place straight away to our own Spider McCarthy. Car number 66 there of Rod Ops back in the second spot. Then we've got Paul Sheen, it looks like up behind him. Then we've got Chris Waters, Daryl Harrison. Car number 88 there of Alan Balshaw of their way back. Martin Horson trying to take him straight up the inside now. Then we've got Russell Brown. Car number 3 there, Raymond Victor. A long way back there to Martin Rams as they go into the pit turn one more time, just past the main straight. We'll head off now into the back straight. It's Spider McCarthy, our own Spider, out in front. He's got half a dozen car lengths over the guys behind him there. Car number 66 of Rod Ops in second. Then we go to Paul Sheen. Paul Sheen's going to try to take him up the inside now down the main straight. Will he have enough go to do it? Yes, he does. A couple of cars having a tussle over here on the Deakin Avenue corner still. As they go around the pit turn now, back into the back straight. It's still Spider McCarthy out in first place into the Deakin Avenue turn. Paul Sheen in second. Then we go back to car number 66, Rod Ops. Then we got Chris Waters in the NZ Ford. Just in behind him, Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson. The other guys will let him go for a while as they go around the pit turn now and straighten up one more time. It's still Spider McCarthy out in first place in the Commodore. Just in behind him in the Cortina, we've got Paul Sheen. And just in behind him in another Ford, we've got Chris Waters in the NZ Falcon. A little bit further back, we've got Mr. Rude, and number 66, Rod Ops. Rodney Rude, I like that. The guys have got it right. Then we got the birthday boy, car number 23, Martin Horson. Daryl Harrison, sorry, Martin Horson getting a little excited up here. The other boys are a long way back and out of it indeed. It's still Spider McCarthy out in first place by a long way there over Paul Sheen. Paul won't like that too much. In behind him, we've got Chris Waters. Then back to car number 66, Rod Ops. Martin Horson in behind him. We're about ready now to lap a slower car. Let's see if we can get past nice and clean. Spider gets past him nice and easy. That's Mal Paul from the Riverland as he goes into the pit turn one more time. And still Paul Sheen can't make any dent in the lead now of Spider McCarthy. Cannot do anything. Chris Waters in behind him trying desperately in third spot. Then we go back to Rod Ops, car number 66, Daryl Harrison. We're around now. Fred's got the flag. We've got the lights on. Last lap. Last time into the pit turn for this race. It's still Spider McCarthy by a long lead now over Paul Sheen in second spot. Then we go back now to Chris Waters, still in third. Still back in fourth, we've got Rod Ops. As we go past the start-finish line for the last time this race, it's Spider McCarthy in first. Paul Sheen second, Chris Waters third. Rod Ops in fourth. Then we've got Daryl Harrison, Martin Horson. Car number 5, I don't think that's the position he's in. Then we go back to Marty Rams. Russell Brown just finishing now. In behind him, car number 88 of Alan Balshaw. And car number Martin Horson out in front. In behind him, pushing very hard indeed, is Daryl Harrison. And Spider McCarthy trying to make a hole where there is no hole. And oh boy! Daryl Harrison lifts a rear wheel off the ground with that one. As we go back to Martin Horson, we've got the orange lights now. Bit of a caution. What are we going to do? The start, still Martin Horson on pole. He takes away straight away with the early lead. Car number 5 on the outside of him, Mal Paul. Spider McCarthy pushes straight through into second spot now. He's going to go out after Martin. Look out, Martin, because here comes the Spider. Back in third spot, we've got Chris Waters. Russell Brown along in behind him. Then we've got that car number 5 of Mal Paul. And behind him then that car of Paul Sheen. Number 66 of Rodney Rude, Rod Ops. The other guys are a fair way back. We'll go back to the leaders. They'll give me a hard time up here again. That Spider's going to try to take Martin Horson around the outside here, as Spider usually will. He doesn't like to sit behind anybody for too long. The boys are pushing out in front. Look at this. Martin goes a little wide and Spider McCarthy takes him around the outside. As they go into the pit turn, we got the naughty boy flag waving down there. As they go back into the back straight one more time, it's Spider McCarthy out in front of Martin Horson in second. Third spot, Chris Waters. Back to Russell Brown. Russell doing quite well. Paul Sheen in behind him. The other boys, we've got a spin out over here. Car number 8. Martin Rams getting a little sideways, losing control. As he gets back on the track, back in rear field in last position. As they go out of the back straight now into the Deakin Avenue turn. It's Spider McCarthy out in first spot. Martin Horson in behind him. Chris Waters in the NZ Falcon in behind him. Then we've got Russell Brown, Paul Sheen. Back to car number 5 there of Mal Paul. guys will leave them right out of it. They're way out of the action back there as we come into the Deakin Avenue turn. In and out one more time. Quick indeed for Spider McCarthy. Chris Waters doing a little push and showing there. Martin Horson won't like that. He'll close the door very quick. Then he pushes him wide. Oh, almost collects the pit gate. Oh, very good driving to keep out of that. As we go back to Spider as he goes around one more time. Almost one more lap down for this man. What a wonderful driver he is. Great control of that car. As he goes into the pit turn one more time ahead of Chris Waters in second. Third spot, Martin Horson. And we go back to Paul Sheen, Russell Brown. Then we go back to Rod Ops. Then car number 5 of Mel Paul. Car number 88 then of Alan Balshaw. Then we go back to number 8 of Marty Rams. The Spider goes past one more lap down. He's on his last lap now. Martin Horson getting a little out of shape there, spinning off onto the inside. I won't say any more as they go down the back straight. Spider McCarthy out, way out in front now as he goes into the Deakin turn now, and we've got a bit of a caution
now, John, right on the last lap, I would think. I think Martin got a bit of help down there.
Balshaw just behind him. And on the outside, I can't see the car on the outside, but we've got Chris Waters in behind those, tucked in the pocket there. That's Darryl Harrison, the birthday boy, slips through into second position. He'll be enjoying that. Then we've got Chris Waters. The car then of Alan Balshaw, Martin Horson, Marty Rams. Then we've got Rodney Rood, Rod Ops, number 66. Number 8, no, it wasn't. It was number 3, I think, or number 5, Mel Paul there at the rear of the field. Russell Brown just in the front of him. So they go around the Deakin turn now, back into the start finish straight one more time. It's Paul Sheen out in first, Darryl Harrison second, Chris Waters, Martin Horson, number 88 there of Alan Balshaw. Then we've got Marty Rams. Then we've got the car of Rod Ops, Russell Brown, and number 5, Mal Paul down the rear of the field still. As they come back into the main straight one more time, still Paul Sheen. He's a mile out in front. He'll be liking this. Darryl Harrison in second spot. Chris Waters pushing hard, trying to take second from Darryl, but I don't think he'll do it just yet. Then we've got Martin Horson. Then car number 8, Marty Rams. Rod Ops will lead those guys for a while. Number 88 getting very, very wide there. Alan Balshaw almost collecting the fence. As Paul Sheen now heads back into the pit turn for one more lap down for him in this final. He leads the way. He's good 10 laps or so on Darryl Harrison in second spot. Then we've got Chris Waters in third. Martin Horson. Way back then to Marty Rams. We'll leave that for now. We'll go back to the leader. He's a long way out in front, Paul Sheen. He'll be a good, almost a length of the straight in front of the other guys now as he gets a little bit wide on that corner. It's still Paul Sheen out in front. Darryl Harrison in second spot, car number 23. Number 9 in the NZ Falcon is Chris Waters. Then we go back to Martin Horson. Then back to car number 66, Rod Ops. Then back to car number 8, Martin Rams, Russell Brown. Pushing, oh, here we go. Little pushing there from Rodney Rood. We'll call him Rodney Rood with Marty Rams there. And the boy finishing off worst is Russell Brown. Number 5 there catching up there is Mal Paul. As we go around the Deakin turn into the main straight one more time, it's Paul Sheen. He's still a long way out in front of the rest of these guys. Darryl Harrison in second. Chris Waters third. We go back to Martin Horson. Then back to Rodney Rood himself. Mr. Rod Ops, number 66. Marty Rams, number 8. 88, Alan Balshaw. Long way back to Russell Brown. And number 5 there, Mal Paul. He's almost being lapped, in fact, by Paul Sheen. He's only about 10 car lengths or so from being lapped. Then we've got Darryl Harrison. Still Chris Waters. A little bit back there to Martin Horson. Martin Horson pushing very hard on the inside there. Chris Waters trying to take away that third position. But I don't think he's going to do it on this lap. So we go around now. Darryl Harrison getting a little wide. Okay, we're on the last lap. It was a little slow with the lap with the lights tonight. As we go around now for the last time now for our leader. Where is he? I've lost him. Paul Sheen first. Second position now will go to Darryl Harrison. He'll be happy with that on his birthday. Chris Waters third. Martin Horson fourth. Then we go back to Rod Ops in fifth. Marty Rams. Number 88, Alan Balshaw. Russell Brown. It just